Hey there guys, so the last time in anime we saw that in the final match of the competition it was Rick against Brufston. So Rick got traumatized and locked himself in the room to withdraw from the fight, so Eldwarf and Alice reveals that Brufston has always felt alone. Orcs understand each other through fight. But Brufston was way too strong that he never had a fighting partner, which is why he's hoping to fight Rick. Rick got the sentiment and came out to fight, but he was still shaking. So Rionette awakens the man inside of him by telling Rick to win the fight and take her to Hot Springs Vacation. That really filled the guy with confidence to fight against Brufston head-on. And looking at Rick now, Brufston was satisfied with his growth and decided to reveal why the Orichalcum Fist was created. So to start the story, Brufston takes him to his past when he was a kid. Other orcs communicates with fight, but Brufston was a little different. He could understand words and even started reading books. And at the age of 5 he was just so strong no one could stand against him, and he looked abnormal than other orcs, but he always wanted to improve the lives of orcs and made born fire in houses. So others started to worship him as a god, and with it the distance between him and his kin grew even more, and simply his family made their distance as well. They fights and have meal at night while he saw it from afar all alone. Then one day a huge storm took place, and when Brufston returns with woods, he saw his kin buried in a landslide, losing everyone, even his family, yet Brufston never felt anything. Then one day a man attacked him at night and got impressed that he dodged it. But an orc was reading a book and could talk human language, was Anu, and he took down the wyvern as well. Brufston was a different type from a usual orc, so the guy apologized for attacking. Brufston was interesting, so he sat down to talk. Brufston told his whole story to Reinhard and his wish to find a friend equal in strength. Brufston thought it was impossible. But Reinhard also had a dream he's chasing which is impossible. He reveals he fought alongside the hero Yamato to defeat Kaiser. Brufston had read the book of that legend, but it was 200 years ago. The author of the book was Reinhard himself, but no one believes him that it's based on true events. His dream was to beat Kaiser, so he asked Brufston to join him to pursue their dreams together. Believing in him, Brufston joined him, and together they created Orichalcum Fist. People with power joined their team, each with their own unique talent. But none were powerful enough to have a fist fight, so in his time he made a training plan to train someone, but at that time, there were none who could survive that training. But one day an unexpected new members brought that dream back to life. It was a touching story. And Rick recalls how Brufston was always by his side at the training time and devoted himself to train him, so the least he could do was give the fight that Brufston always wanted. He knew about the quarter's thumbs and its meaning, so Rick gives the challenge to Brufston. But he felt bad that he won't be able to go to Hot Springs with Reincarnation, because this means no one will block attack, only offense. Their thick fight starts, and slowly they were even destroying the arena. Their punches were so powerful that even the barrier was coming down, so Eldwarf took magic from Alice and casted a wide-scale teleportation spell to kick out the audience to a safe place. Eldwarf only left Kelvin because he's more than strong enough to witness this awesome fight. Rick and Brufston's punch were going on non-stop, causing heavy winds. Rick was delivering more punches than Brufston, but power-wise, Brufston's punches were heavier than Rick's. The area itself was breaking down just from the shocks, and there Rick got it hard to even stand on his feet, out of breath, legs shaking. But the time he trained with Brufston, he remembers it all and got back on the game. This time the power level went further that Brufston even smiled in excitement, but that blew away Rick all the way back. Rick appeared to have no strength and wanted to go home for a rest. But Brufston was still standing tall and he felt his finger could move, and Rionette, Alice, and Eldwarf knew Rick would return to fight. Rick still wanted to give his all, and he awoken his unique skill, Reckless Soul, which the three trained Rick and kept it a secret. Rick could activate his skill only when he was in full form to go beyond the limits to fight, so the real fight begins now. Their fight now started to completely go on a whole different level. And Brufston saw that he was never alone all this time. He has friends who cares for him. So he also gave it his all to fight Rick, and both were now exhausted. So the next attack will decide their winner, and the two gave it their all and made a huge crimson pillar of light. And when things calms down and the mist goes away, Rick admits Brufston still won and falls unconscious, but Brufston admits that Rick is the real winner here. That was a tough fight for them, and Rick woke up in the hospital. He was asleep for 3 whole days, but when he used his skill for the first time, he was out for a week, so that's a progress. Even then, Brufston was adamant on giving the victory to Rick. He even thanked the other 3 for helping Rick out just to fulfill his dream, but Rick had no idea the three actually trained him so that he could control his inborn skill. Then now, they received one of the desired 6 jewels, and Alice charged up a duplicate stone with magic to replace it with that orb. On that note, Rick asked how old is Reinhard. The legend of Yamato was 200 years ago, so Brufston told him because of a skill he had extended his life. And right now he's away because the deadline for his book was closing. As for the title of winner, both Rick and Brufston didn't accept it, so Snape asked Kelvin to retain that title. And now comes the time to leave, and they shopped quite a lot for their neighbors as well, but Angelica had to part ways to visit her family for the time being. But she'll return to train with Brufston. Rick couldn't believe she's up for the suicide, but she had made up her mind to surpass Rick one day. After that, Rick was planning to run all the way to home, so Angelica thought it's gonna be a few hundred kilometers, but precisely it was 2,800 kilometers away. So she told them the horse won't be able to make it in 3 days, but Eldwarf had a trick for that. He enhanced the horse. Their Rionette asked about their hot springs trip, and Rick couldn't help but imagine how good the hot springs would be with Rionette, but Rick thought he didn't win the match, so Eldwarf told him to decide the winner with a race to home. Brufston agreed and decided to increase the training if Rick loses, so he promised to Rionette he'll take her there in sprints fast to catch up, and just like that, our story will continue when season 2 comes. But to enjoy more new anime episode recap, subscribe and hit the bell icon. So let's meet in the next video. Till then, take care.